To the regular meeting of the Mountainside Borough Council in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given to all members of the governing body and to the newspapers designated to receive said notice. Also, notice of this meeting has been posted on the Borough Bulletin. Ask you please rise for an invocation followed by a salute to the flag.
Dear Lord, please protect our uniformed personnel, especially those that are overseas, preserving our freedom. Please also help us in our deliberations today, that they may benefit the citizens of Mountainside. Amen.
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 I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Take a roll, please.
Councilman Lane?
Here.
Councilman Messler?
Here.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Here.
Councilman Mortimer?
Here.
Councilman Schoen?
Here.
Councilman Turner?
Here.
First on our agenda this evening, we have a resolution of commendation to a very, very fine, dedicated Mountainside resident by the name of Bruce Dickerson. Whereas on April 13th of 1970, Benninger and Tansy assigned Bruce Dickerson to be the borough's insurance representative. And whereas Mr. Dickinson brought the business from Benninger and Tansy on January 20th, 1989, and became the borough's insurance agent. Whereas in 1994, the borough joined the self-insured insurance plan known as the Joint Insurance Fund and appointed Mr. Dickinson as the borough's risk management manager. Whereas Bruce Dickerson, along with his wife Gloria, have been Mountainside residents for over 30 years. And whereas Mr. Dickinson has served his community as treasurer of the Mountainside Rotary Club, former president of the Board of Trustees for the 200 Club of Union County, and a member of the Board of Occupational Center of Union County. Whereas Bruce Dickinson has dedicated 36 years of service to the Borough of Mountainside and has been an exceptional citizen in our community. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Mountainside, recognize and commend Bruce Dickinson for his dedication and commitment to the Borough of Mountainside. I ask for unanimous approval,
So approved. Second.
and we will send an appropriate copy to Bruce and his family. Next, you've all received a copy of the minutes of the work session of April 18th. I'll entertain a motion to correct if necessary or accept said minutes if appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Abstain.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
You also received a copy of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 18th. Again, I'll entertain a motion to accept if appropriate, correct if necessary, said minutes.
So moved.
Motion, I have a second.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Abstain.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, we have the ordinance and second reading and public hearing on ordinance 1110-2006. Glenn?
An ordinance for calendar year 2006 to establish a cap bank as allowed by law under NJSA 40A:4-45.14, whereas the Borough of Mountainside hereby determines that the difference in the amount of $51,274.55 is not appropriated and shall be retained as an exception to the final appropriations in either of the next two succeeding years.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Since this is an ordinance, I'll open the meeting to the public to discuss ordinance 1110-2006.
Seeing no public participation, I move that section be closed.
I have a motion to close the public portion. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any other questions or comments from council? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 88-2006. It's a resolution adopting the 2006 budget for the Borough of Mountainside, God bless you, and appropriating funds in the amount of $5,336,965.71 for municipal purposes. I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
And I'll accept a second.
Second.
Have any questions or comments by council? As you all saw last week and saw a draft of a letter that I will be enclosing with the tax bills, we have corrected all, but I found out I made one grammatical error in the letter. It's at the printer. It's too late. I'll take the heat on that. It will be sent out with every single tax bill. I think it's a full explanation to our residents as to exactly where their local tax dollars are going, and also an indication to our residents as where we've been in the last 5 years on our taxes, and where we project to be going in the next 5. And as you remember and recall, I said at last paragraph of that letter, this administration is open to any criticisms or suggestions that the public might have that are positive in nature as to how we can possibly save some money. If any resident has any ideas that we have not seen, we would like to really entertain it and take a look at it. With that, if there's no other questions of council, poll the board, please.
Councilman Lane.
That public input, Bob.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need public input. Thank you. To discuss Resolution 88-2006. Do I have anybody from the public wish to address?
Seeing no public participation, I move that that portion be closed.
Motion to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other questions from council? Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilman Schoen.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 83-2006. Councilman Lane.
This is a resolution renewing the contract with Commerce Risk Control Services for CDL random drug and alcohol testing at a rate of $61.25 per test. Make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Do I have any
Second.
Any questions or comments? This is part of our risk control, and it's a program that we've been in for many years. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilman Schoen.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 84-2006. Councilman Messler.
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing the annual liquor license renewals as required under RS Title 33C.1 of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Laws. So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have any questions or comments from council? Poll the council.
Councilman Lane.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilman Schoen.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Martha, has everybody paid their liquor license bill?
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 86-2006. Councilman Turner.
Resolution 86-2006 is a resolution that will be sent to the lawmakers in Trenton to show support from Mountainside's mayor and council for the proposed needed amendments relating to Police and Fire Interest Arbitration Act of 1995. And I make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any other questions or comments? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilman Schoen.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 87-2006. Council President.
The Mountainside PTA has traditionally sponsored the annual 8th grade pool party, and at their request, this resolution will authorize the mayor and council to waive the fee, which is in the amount of $125. So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments on that? Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane.
Yes.
Councilman Messler.
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli.
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer.
Yes.
Councilman Schoen.
Yes.
Councilman Turner.
Yes.
Okay, I guess we're skipping 88 because we've already done that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Resolution 89-2006, Councilman Lane.
This resolution appoints Scott Ladati as playground supervisor at $2,654.23, with Joe Nicastro and Jennifer Stewart as assistant supervisors, each at $1,820.21, and Chrissy McCurdy, assistant supervisor, at $1,703.92. All positions are part-time and shall not exceed 27 and a half hours in 1 week.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Now, you just read this one here about part-time employees. I'm going to ask council to skip now to Resolution 92-2006.
Okay.
Read that one, please.
Yeah, this is a resolution that's being sent to the Trenton lawmakers showing Mountainside mayor and council's opposition to Senate Bill S-477, proposing health care benefits for municipal part-time workers in excess of 15 hours per week, which would include seasonal employees such as the playground staff that we're just now appointing for this year. It would also include such part-time employees as crossing guards in our municipality and community pool workers. So we're submitting this resolution to the state senate, showing our opposition to the proposed bill.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I wish we had 100 people here. This is exactly what infuriates me. The state in Trenton keeps yelling, we've got to control the taxes, we've got to keep property taxes under control. And now they have a bill present that not only would we have to pay hospitalization for people that work 3 months in the summer or 2 months for 15 hours, they also, this bill includes that anybody who works for the borough would have to have full hospitalization for their employees or pay a tax. That's part of it.
So you're saying like, you mean like contractors that we may hire?
If we hired a private landscaper, if we didn't have public works, and he came here, for him to work for the borough, he'd have to have full hospitalization for his employees or pay a penalty tax. Meanwhile, this bill, if put in, would do exactly what you just said. We would have to pay full hospitalization for a young person working as a lifeguard at our pool who maybe in the summer earns $4,000, $5,000, Frank, in the summer, maybe? Maybe. And we'd have to pay hospitalization for that person for 2 to 3 months. That would cost us $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And Trenton says we want to control property taxes. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 90-2006. Councilman Mortimer.
This resolution will declare that under NJSA 40A:4-78B, Mountainside Borough Mayor and Council have examined and approved the 2006 municipal budget as set forth in requirements under NJAC 5:30-7, and further authorize the borough's chief financial officer, Diane Maris, to certify that the borough has met all the requirements.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have Resolution 91-2006. Councilman Messler.
Yes, at the recommendation of the Borough Administrators, this resolution will allow for the hiring of Paulette Drogan to replace Lisa Cassidy in the position of Senior Citizen Coordinator at an annual salary of $17,228.11 for a minimum of 16 hours per week. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Poll the board, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
If you notice on your agenda sheet, the clerk has put the title that the state gave it, S-477, Healthcare Tax. That's what that's okay. Next, we have Resolution 93-2006. Glenn?
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution will authorize the borough's tax collector to redeem the tax sale certificates for Block 5.B, Lot 13A, in the amount $8,275.34.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
This was certified by our tax collector. Poll the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have first reading of ordinance 1112-2006. There'll be no public input on this. Councilman Turner?
Resolution 1112-2006 is an ordinance that will amend the borough's solicitation ordinance and creating a commercial solicitation and a peddling ordinance, a charitable solicitation and canvassing ordinance, and a non-solicitation, quote, no-knock registry ordinance under Chapter 4 of the Borough Code. So moved.
Yeah.
Want to,
Do I have a next, introduce it first.
so moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Now I'm going to ask the borough attorney to
Okay.
explain to you what we're doing.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, this ordinance could have a significant effect on our residents in this sense. We have for many years now had an ordinance which governed the activities of people who would be soliciting the residences in town. The categories of people who were governed by this ordinance included religious groups, charitable groups, and commercial groups. And essentially, under the terms of our existing ordinance, before anybody could, or any organization could commence solicitation activities going to residences in town, they had to come down to the police department, register with the police department, get an ID badge that would identify their organization or the organization for whom they were soliciting, be cleared by the police department, and then had to confine the hours during which they would conduct their soliciting activities to, I think it was 9 to 5, Jim, under
That's
the
correct.
existing ordinance. There have been a series of federal court cases, most recently a decision by the Third Circuit, which made it clear that the kind of activity that we have been regulating in our existing ordinance constitutes speech that's protected by the First Amendment to our federal Constitution. And as speech that is protected by the First Amendment, the courts have addressed with a very critical eye some of the kinds of municipal regulations that I just described. So the result of those cases is that within the last couple of months, a charitable organization attempted to come into town, it's an environmental group, attempted to come into town and conduct solicitation activities. When they saw our ordinance, they concluded, and properly so, that our ordinance would not pass constitutional muster, and as a result commenced an action in the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey to have our ordinance declared illegal and unconstitutional. Having reviewed the relevant case law, we are satisfied that indeed the ordinance does not pass constitutional muster, and what we have done by these amendments is to create an ordinance that will pass constitutional muster. The immediate consequence of this change in our ordinance, which reflects a change in the law, is that our ability to govern or regulate groups that conduct this kind of activity has been pulled back, so to speak, so that organizations that conduct soliciting or canvassing activities that are charitable or religious in nature, and these are the most protected groups, will no longer have to come down to the police department, register, et cetera, and they have a broader latitude with respect to the hours of the day during which they can conduct those activities. What that means concretely is that groups, environmental groups, religious groups, et cetera, can send people in town, about town, canvassing, knocking on doors, asking for contributions, et cetera, and we effectively, other than cutting off their ability to do so after 9 o'clock in the evening, really don't have any ability to prevent that activity. We have some more limited regulatory activities as it relates to commercial canvassers, although they have not been a major problem. So you see the ordinance is divided into groups that solicit for charitable purposes groups that contribute for commercial purposes. And then lastly, what we have created is a non-solicitation, no-knock registry ordinance. Now, again, for our residents, this is a way to, if you don't want to have your home visited by people who are soliciting, whether it be for charitable, religious purposes, commercial purposes, there is still a way to do it that is constitutional. And the way that you do it is that you have to call Borough Hall or the police department and let the police department know that you want to be on the no solicitation list that will be maintained by the police department down here at Borough Hall. The analog is, as you, or as many of you may know, in order to deal with the problem of these cold calls that people receive in their homes, you can inform or an organization that calls your home that you want to be placed on the no-call list. And under the federal law, they have to do that, and if they continue to call your home, then that's a violation of the federal statute, and that statute is enforced by the courts. So the analog with respect to solicitation door-to-door here in town is that if you don't want to be subject to that kind of solicitation, call the police department, tell them that you want to be on the no solicitation list that will be maintained in the police department. Because when an organization does begin to solicit here in town, they will have to get that list from the police department and avoid going to those homes. The burden, in addition to having to make the call, which is placed on the homeowner, is that you also have to put some kind of a small sign on your door or on your house somewhere indicating that you want no solicitation to occur at your home. But if you do take those two steps, call the police department and also put some kind of a small sign on your home, you will not be subject to that kind of solicitation.
Thank you, Mr. Post. Any other questions?
Next question, what happens if somebody does, if you sign up for the no-call, no-show list, somebody shows up, what happens?
That's a violation of the ordinance and subjects whoever violates that ordinance to fines by the municipal court.
But who would have to press charges, the homeowner? Or
The
police
homeowner, in
department?
other words, it would be incumbent on the homeowner who has taken those two measures, i.e. placed or had his home placed on the no solicitation list at police headquarters and put up a small sign. If he was then solicited, he would call the police headquarters, advise them that he has been solicited, or she has been solicited, and the police would then go apprehend the person that did it and issue a summons for violating the ordinance.
And if these people walk on your property and they fall and hurt themselves, or if your dog bites them, then the homeowner's liable regardless,
Well, it depends, certainly if your dog bites them,
even though they went on your property.
yes.
I mean, I don't personally have a dog.
We used to have a one-bite rule in New Jersey, but that rule was
So
eliminated
basically,
by
the
the
homeowner
courts a
has no
number of
rights
years
to his
ago.
own property
Right.
for trespass.
We're getting into a whole different,
You know, that brings
So,
up something interesting. The PAL is always looking for ways to do community service and also earn money. Perhaps the PAL should send a letter out to each resident explaining this law, and perhaps the PAL should offer them a reasonably priced
Sticker for the
sticker
door.
or sign that says
It's a good idea.
no
Solicitation.
solicitation.
Is that all it would have to say, John, is no solicitation?
Yes.
How big is the sign? You said small, what's small? Is there a limit?
You know, I was just looking, the ordinance doesn't prescribe the size of the sign. What it says is residents who list their places of residence on the no-knock registry should also place one small sign or notice stating, quote, "no soliciting," or similar language on the premises. I think some of you may go to a business occasionally where you'll see a small sign
It's 2 by 6, 2 by 8.
that says no soliciting, and I think that would pass the requirements of the ordinance and also be constitutional.
Can you put this property protected by Smith & Wesson? Winchester?
That's not going to satisfy the ordinance.
Any other questions? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have second reading of ordinance 1108-2006 and also public input. Glenn?
An ordinance to appropriate the sum of $240,000 for the resurfacing of Central Avenue, Section 1, with a reimbursable grant from the New Jersey State Department of Transportation in the amount of $140,000 once the project is completed.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I think this is the third and final section of Central Avenue because our engineers gotten grants in stages. And I think this is the last stage, which that means we've gotten grants to do the entire street in the last 3 or 4 years. Poll the council,
No,
please.
public input. though.
Okay, I'm sorry, yes. Thanks again. At this time, we'll open the meeting to the public to discuss ordinance 1108, the resurfacing of Central Avenue.
Seeing no public participation, I move that portion be closed.
Motion to close the public portion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now poll the council.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have second reading and public input on Resolution 1109-2006. Paul?
Yeah, this is an ordinance to appropriate the sum of $15,800 from the Capital Improvement Fund to conduct municipal stormwater outfall pipe mapping and an outfall pipe stream scouring remediation program under Phase 1 of those regulations.
Under
So
Phase
moved.
2, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Phase 2.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
This time, we'll open the meeting to the public to discuss this resolution, or this ordinance.
Seeing no public participation, I move that portion be closed.
All in favor of closing the public portion?
Aye.
For the public's information, and part of this will be in my tax letter, this is another way the state of New Jersey wants us to lower property taxes. It is a mandate that every town in the state of New Jersey must map all of its storm sewers, where the storm sewer water goes under our streets. The next phase is that all of these storm sewer receptacles are gonna have to be changed and modified so Coke cans can't go down into the storm sewer. The next step after that is each storm sewer at certain intersections has to have filters. The water is going to have to be filtered. And after that, we have to sweep the streets of commercial and residential and industrial on various times per month. Our estimate for a small town like Mountainside, when we get done with this, is well over $500,000. But we're gonna lower your property taxes, says Trenton, and they throw another $500,000 at you. Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Next, I have second reading and public input on ordinance 1111-2006.
Bob,
We need a
you wanna do the
resolution.
Mr. Mayor? Oh, yeah, I may as well skip that. Okay, resolution 85-2006. Glenn?
This resolution will authorize the borough engineer to continue with Phase 2 of the municipal stormwater outfall pipe mapping for the balance of the project and an amount not to exceed $15,800.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Now we'll go to 1111. Bob?
Yes, this ordinance amending Section 704 of the Land Use Ordinance of the Code of the Borough of Mountainside to increase minimum escrow deposit required for development applications. So moved.
Motion, I have a second. Any questions or comments? Hold the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Do we need public input on?
No, it's only a...
No, we do, Bob.
Second.
This is second
Second.
reading on
Oh,
the
We need
ordinance.
public input,
Boy,
yes, we
that's
do.
4 for 4 tonight. Thank you, guys. This time, I'll open the meeting to the public to discuss 1111. Can't be written any bigger than not to see it.
Did you pay your alcohol license?
Seeing no public input, ask the public portion be closed.
So moved.
All in favor of closing the public portion?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now poll the council.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Bills and claims.
Be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Mountainside that the following bills of the persons named and for the amounts stated below, having been duly audited and found to be correct this 16th day of May, 2006, the same be paid after council's review if and when funds are available, and that the mayor, council president, administrator, and treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to sign and deliver warrants for same. Total, $1,077,114.21.
A motion for the payment of the bills. Second. Call the council, please.
Councilman Lane?
Yes.
Councilman Messler?
Yes.
Councilman Mirabelli?
Yes.
Councilman Mortimer?
Yes.
Councilman Schoen?
Yes.
Councilman Turner?
Yes.
Any comments from council?
I have one. The Watts Foundation has awarded their second grant, and the recipient was the Mountainside Library. They will use the funds for the continued digitalization of the Mountainside Echo and a multimedia theater room in the library's public room.
How much is the grant for?
That, I don't have the dollar figures.
Thank you. Any other reports, comments? This time I'll open the meeting to the public. Any public comments, just step up to the podium and
Seeing none, I move that portion be closed.
motion to close the public portion. Any other questions or comments from council? You have nothing for exec, right? At this moment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.